And to discuss the significance of the presidential elections in Ecuador this Sunday, we now welcome Dan Kovalik, a lawyer and professor of international human rights at the University of Pittsburgh School of Law. Dan, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Dan, what are the stakes for Ecuadorians in this Sunday's elections, and what are the different models that these two presidential candidates represent?
Well, the stakes are huge, and the models that they represent could not be more different. You have Arroz, who represents the progressive socialist wing of Ecuador that promises to reinvigorate the social programs that were very popular under President Rafael Correa. He promises to attack the pandemic with a massive vaccine campaign. And it looks like, from what we've seen already, that the people are very receptive to this, that he has a lot of support. On the other side, you have a candidate who is a banker, a conservative, who will try to continue Lenin Moreno's policy of cozying up to the United States and the policy of continuing to undermine the social programs of Rafael Correa.
Dan, even though the polls suggest a victory for Andrés Arauz, there are warnings that Guillermo Lasso could claim he's a victim of fraud if he loses. In this context, how big must Arauz's advantage be to avoid his victory being challenged?
Well, I think it would be nice if he won big to avoid that. But I think that, he's right to fear that the West, in particular the United States and its client state, Colombia, South America, will not accept the results, no matter what happens, by the way, if Arroz wins. So I think it's up to people of goodwill throughout the hemisphere to support him if indeed the results come back in his favor.
Dan, Andrés Arauz represents a coalition of progressive forces, as you've mentioned, such as those who supported former President Rafael Correa and the Citizens' Revolution. There's been a very strong campaign by right-wing sectors supported by the media in Ecuador against these progressive forces. Given a victory for Arauz, what ways might the government try to deal with this kind of destabilizing campaign?
Well, it's a good question. I think what's going to happen, what has to happen, is for Ecuador, in that case, to build closer relations with Venezuela, with Cuba, Bolivia, which just overturned the right-wing coup there, right, in elections this fall, Argentina, Mexico. They need to recreate teleSUR, which they have said they would do, and need to essentially recreate the pink tide that we saw come into power after Hugo Chavez in Venezuela was elected in 1998.
Dan Kovalik, human and labour rights lawyer, peace activist and professor at the University of Pittsburgh. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for offering your views.
Thank you, my honor.